Well, hey guys, hey everyone. This is Pouria. I'm with Augusta University School of Computer and Cyber Sciences here in Georgia, and thanks for being here. Today I'm talking about how AI is being used in digital forensics and what's working, what's not, and honestly, why a lot of these AI tools are still hard to trust in real cases and in court. Our whole angle is pretty simple. AI is only as good as the evidence you feed it. So, if your databases are weak, biased, or undocumented, the tool might look smart in a lab, but in the real world, it gets chewed up by the defense attorney or it falls apart in the real world. We map the space to figure out where those landmines are. So here's I'll walk you through this. First, why this even matters, what we actually did in this study, uh, what we found, what you can take back to your lab agency, and lastly, where this needs to go next. Everyone is in this room is drowning in data. Emails, phones, cloud accounts, logs, IoT devices, videos, audios, you name it. Traditional pull it, image it, manually go through it, doesn't scale anymore, not at the volume you're seeing now. So we all look at the AI and machine learning and say, can it sort for us? Can this prioritize for us? Can this flag what matters? The catch is AI only works if you train it on the right kind of data. And most forensics data sets today are either too small, not too diverse enough, not well documented, or they don't have a clean chain of custody style metadata. That's a problem because if the dataset isn't defensible, the tool built on top of it will get challenged. That's the core motivation behind our study. Here's what we actually did, uh, just in plain terms. I'm trying to like keeping this as practitioners based as possible so that I don't like bore you guys to the death. So we pulled the recent AI digital forensics research and we mapped it out to see what people are actually doing, not just the buzzwords that are out there. We grouped about 60 solid papers uh, into four buckets: how people build forensics data sets, how AI is being used in applied practice, the more cutting edge stuff, large language models, and how people test these tools for courts. We looked for repeat headaches and spoilers. It will come back, it keeps coming back to the data quality and documentation. And then we put together a set of recommendations which you can actually use, things like standard metadata, privacy handling, and how to keep a clean story where evidence come from, so it survives the legal scrutiny. I think I'm stepping on the HDMI cord, so pardon me. I have to be careful about not just stepping on those. Sorry about that. So a quick refresher on how AI is used in forensics right now. So we are all familiar with like different methods of machine learning. Um, Supervised learning, we give it labels, examples. This is malware, this is not. It learns patterns that are classified. It learns patterns and classifies new stuff. Great for malware triage, spam, illicit contents, etc. With unsupervised learning, just don't give it any labels. You just say, tell me what looks weird, and that's huge for like log analysis, traffic monitoring, because attackers don't always follow and match a known signature. Deep learning, this is like being used on images, videos, audios, things like spotting tampering or deepfakes, and reinforcement learning in digital forensics is quite new. Think of a system that adapts its investigation strategy as it goes. These are already in the play. This isn't sci-fi, but again, they're only as good as the data behind them. For AI to be useful in forensics, data it's trained on needs to be having these things, these three important things. Number one, good labels and documentation. I need to know where this file is, where did it came from, who collected it, under what conditions. That's just not for accuracy. That's so I can say it's with a straight face in the court. Uh, Additionally, for the raw unlabeled data, in the real world, you don't just like get perfectly labeled evidence. You get messy network captures, logs, dumps, and this raw stuff is what anomaly detectors learn from. And diversity. If your training set is only on a bunch of Windows laptops from 1 year ago, the model's not going to perform well and it's going to fall apart on Android phones from like a month ago. You need coverage across devices, OSs, time periods, formats, and if you're missing any of those, the model might look great in a paper, but it'll be brittle in an actual case. When we looked at the data sets that AI community actually trusts, they had the same traits actually. So the ground truth is verified. It's not we think it's malicious, it's confirmed. Uh, there's enough volume and variety so the model doesn't overfit over one weird lab setup. People can actually access it. Uh, the data set under clear terms so other can reproduce the work. And the metadata is clean and complete. Timestamps, machine info, collection context. The level of documentation is what's let you say, yeah, this model behaves consistently. Uh, and here's how we know it. Digital forensics needs the same standards if we want the AI tools to survive the challenge. So here's how we built this. We searched the major academic libraries from IEEE, ACM, Springer, Elsevier for works that talk about AI in digital forensics. We filtered out anything that was just theory or hype. We only kept papers that were actually talked about data, what data they used, how they used it, how they validated it. And then we sorted those papers into four buckets, which you'll see in a second. Then we pulled out common problems and common best practices. So it wasn't just we've read some cool stuff. We structured it so we could say, here's where the field is mature, and here's where it's a little bit shanky. So that's the why. Now let me quickly walk you through how we did the study. This word cloud is basically the fingerprint of the field right now. You see mostly three big clusters over this fingerprint. Number one, AI, forensics, datasets. That tells you the core focus is using machine learning directly on digital evidence. Then you'll see like large language models, chat GPT, things like that. And that's exploding. People are all trying to use large language models to help with triage, summarizing chat logs, pulling entities, drafting reports. And the third common coding here is standards, metadata, documentation, which is huge. People are realizing that Blocker isn't do we have a fancy model? The blocker is that do we actually know where this data came from and how we can prove that it hasn't been altered. So even in the research, people are worried about trust, audit trails, and defensibility, not just accuracy. This chart shows how fast the space has blown over the about like past 15 years. Before 2016, slow growth. After that, especially post 2020, it ramps up hard. Why? Two big reasons. COVID, obviously. Uh, Everybody went remote, online crime spiked, evidence went digital. And second, deep learning got stable. So demand went up. tooling got better, and now you're seeing AI show up all over forensics workflow. That timeline matters because it tells you that it's no longer experimental. Agencies are already under pressure to adopt this stuff. But when they're trying to be like adopting these things, especially in the courtroom, they get into these four common themes. We organize the work, it naturally falls into these four areas. First, dataset construction. This is the most boring part that actually makes or breaks everything. People are trying to build forensics datasets from real cases or controlled captures, but they hit these walls. Number one, you can't just dump live victim data on GitHub. Number two, lacks of standardization. Everyone documents evidence differently. Number three, the scope is quite narrow. So one device type, one platform, one time slice. Some of the promising approaches we saw to fix these three problems is to generating synthetic or simulated data that looks realistic. And second, capture really good metadata so someone else can repeat the process. The bottom line is that if this step is weak, every AI model built on top of it is already compromised. The next big theme over using AI right now is where AI is already doing some useful stuff for investigators. So malware triage, classify and cluster malware first, even if it's obfuscate. Multimedia forensics spots tampering, deepfakes, illegal content in images, videos, audios. Network log analysis, flag weird activities in mountains of like traffic data without humans staring at the outputs all night. And evidence triage and prioritizing, which is like out of the 10 terabytes of data that I'm looking at, tell me which device, which chat, which time window I should look at first. And this is the stuff that saves humans times, saves human hours. And the challenge is whether you can trust the output enough to act on it or not. Now, hot stuff, large language models. This one is what everyone's talking about right now. It's being used right now to summarize long chat logs, pull out names, places, timelines, draft parts of reports, and do fats what's relevant in here passes. But only safe way to use it in digital forensics is to force them to pull from the actual case evidence, not to make stuff up. We know that. That's actually called retrieval augmented generation, so we keep the model on a leash. Second piece is XAI, the explainability. Investigators and judges will ask, why did the model say this is suspicious? Explain AI gives you visual or textual reasons. This part of the image is altered. This field in the log triggered as alerts. That's auditability, and that's how you defend the tool later. And this is where the rubber hits the courtroom. When you bring an AI-based finding into a case, you're going to get challenged on four main things. Number one, technical validation. Did you test this tool on? Oh, I didn't step on any course this time. It wasn't my issue. Trust me. Number one, did you test this tool on more than one case? How do you know the error rates? Reproducibility. If someone else reruns the tool with the same inputs, do they get the same output? Number three, admissibility. Does this meet the Dobbert-Frye standard, some like courtroom, like standards that we should have? Is it generally accepted, documented, explainable? And number four, the evidence package. Can you show the full chain, like input data, model version, settings, output, in a way that preserves the chain of custody? If you can't answer those, the other side is going to hear the AI. It's just like gonna tear the AI apart. I'm not going to talk about this. This is just like a matrix of like the studies that we found around like these subjects and etc. etc. But let's get to the actual practical part of the work that we got into. This is just like the foundation and the base of a lot of like upcoming studies and works that are upcoming in the next few maybe months, years. So here's the big picture. All of the four categories, building data sets, applying AI, using large language models, going to the court, they are all bottlenecked by the same issues. Four things. Data quality and completeness, data biases, privacy and illegal limits, no shared standards, and access. What are those? So for the data quality, the missing timestamps, partial logs, corrupted media, the models can only learn from what is given. Uh, if you're like input shit, you output shit. A bias. If the dataset only represents one platform, one region, one crime type, your tool is going to like quietly fail on everything else, which is not bad. You can start small with something, but if you want to be taking it to like agencies, you need to like grow it quite a lot. A lot of real forensics evidence can't just be shared or trained, so people end up training it on weaker, sanitized data. And the other problem is no shared standards. Everyone document evidence differently, which is a huge problem right now. That kills the collaboration and repeatability. And some of the best data sets are locked up behind NDAs. So everyone reinvents the wheel instead of building on top of each other. Those aren't research problems. Those are deployments problems. And this is why you might see a cool demo and never actually be able to use it in your own lab. Something that you like on the speech before me, it was talked. You see cool demos, but you will never see it in an actual use case. So here's what we should do with all of these issues. Standardizing metadata. Agree on how we label evidence, timestamps, device info, context. If two agencies can talk to each other within their data, AI won't scale. Number two, privacy by design. Don't scrub it. Don't scrub it later. Just build anonymization, masking into the collection process so the data set is usable without violating policy or law. This is a thing that has been solved mostly in Europe under GDPR laws, which we did another research on top of it and build actual tools based on like the laws, like the transparent data that is out there. But the issue is that like we don't have such rule in the United States, which is something that like needs a lot of like policy making, like talking, research, a lot of work to be done in this field. Number three, the diverse data sets. Don't train only on one device family or one geography. That's how bias creeps and cases gets challenged. And number four, track presence. Treat your training data like evidence. Document where it came from, who touched it, and how it was processed. So it needs a better logging system. Uh, and additionally, and most importantly, yeah, we have issues about not being access to the data. But the issue is that like not everyone deserves to have access to the data. So some data can be public. Some should go in to the like the vetted researchers. Some stays in house. That's fine. But locking everything down kills the process. If we do these five things, we get AI tools that are actually defensible, not just impressive. So let me say this bluntly. Better data sets means fewer false positives, wasting your time, and fewer false negatives, letting someone walk. Or something walk sometimes. Common standards means that you can hand something to another lab, an agency, without them saying, I can't read this, I can't understand this. Collaborations between forensics, legal, and AI people upfront means we don't build tools that are unusable the moment a defense attorney asks, how does it work? It's, we should be like having a more better common language between like all of us. This is where like we can like sat around information systems and like try to be like doing it between all of the fields all together. And most importantly, if the AI process is documented, explainable, and repeatable, it's way harder to throw it out from the courtroom. This is not just efficiency. This is will this hold if I'm on a stand or not? So, quick honesty check. Real world forensics data is hard to share because of privacy and legal rules. That slows down the process. We all know that. A lot of current datasets are still biased, as we talked about it, and it was also obvious in the uh, research that is already published out there. We still don't have huge, diverse, continuously updated forensics datasets that the way cybersecurity does it for the malware or spam. Uh, but the important thing is to know where do we go from here. So smarter sharing models, things like federated learning and high quality synthetic data sets, where we learn from patterns without exposing victims is key. Uh, Things like reinforcement learning and hybrid human plus AI teaming, not just let the model guess, will make everything better. And we need to stay ahead of the generative AI, not just using it, but also detecting deepfakes and other AI augmented or AI generated evidence that's meant to fool us. So we're not done. This is moving fast. Um, I'll close with this. AI is already in digital forensics. That's not optional anymore. The question is whether we can trust it or not. Uh, what decides that trust? What decides that trust in data set? Um, if we get serious about clean, well-documented, diverse, privacy-aware data sets, then we get AI tools that investigators can actually use and that judges will actually allow on the courtrooms. Same with the tools that we're trying to do with like knowledge distillation and like a lot of like other methods that we are using on top of like GDPR data. We need to like set some things and like bring the conversation here to the US. If we don't fix the data side, then all of the fancy models in the world are just like a bunch of demos. So real work is now standardizing and sharing in a defensible way. That's where the wins are. And thank you. I'd love to hear how this matches or doesn't matches what you're seeing in the field and what's getting blocked right now. Thank you so much. Oh, absolutely. Mhm. So great question. We're actually working closely. So since we're in the Georgia Cyber Center, we're located in Georgia Cyber Center, we're having a lot of access to a lot of like forensics data from GBI, from other law enforcement places which I can't name. But but the thing is that one of the data sets that we got actually acquired is the data set from like a smaller or bigger counties in Colorado. And we've been working on that. But the problem is that when you're taking this to like a lawyer and start like showing the tool, start like explaining everything, there's not a like set ground for them to understand what they want. It's not about the data. There's a lot of data out there. It's not up to date, and it's not up to date to the current crimes that is out there, which is needs to be addressed with digital forensics. But the problem is that right now that there is no standardization to be like for like everyone knows ChatGPT, everyone knows Gemini. We cannot have something like that for the courtrooms. It needs security, it needs privacy. You cannot just like put like a victim's data to like give it to ChatGPT. So you need to like build a tool that can be deployed like easily on a computer with knowledge distillation, with like different explainable AI methodologies that would be easy to use and understandable for everyone. So I think that is the main thing that we need to start from. But even to build that, we need data. It doesn't matter, like you can like have 500 cases to 1,000 cases to like 10,000 cases. When you set the methodology and like have a standardization, you can give it as much as data as you want. You can synthesize some data based on the history of that city, of that county, of that like sort of a crime, and then make your tool more accurate. Okay. Good question. So good question. This is actually what all of these data sets are all about. These are all sanitized data from like WhatsApp chats, from like different issues that are out there. But the issue is that these are very limited and, to be honest, very much old. Like you cannot, like you can train an AI and it can just like do a second guess. Just like, oh yeah, like this might show this issue, but but the problem shows up like on our like one of the research that we did recently, when you're actually trying to use the AI to define what sort of laws a case or a violation broke, without those like standardization and like the whitelisting that you mentioned on these like older data, it cannot, because it doesn't have an understanding of the law, and there's not a like a specific like a standard law all over. Yeah, yeah. The crime definition is different because like the crime can be also just like sharing like a bunch of users' data or actually like killing someone, you know? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Great. Yeah. Hmm. Really good question. So one of the current issues with evidence collection right now is the affidavit that's like the judges are just like putting out there. And one of the things that we're actually working based on like these affidavits that we're getting is to actually seeing how long of a time it took the judge to just like issue that. Because like when they issue something like that, they can like the enforcement just can like capture everything, and that is an issue because like some of them would actually just violates the user's privacy, and judges sometimes don't care or don't read. They just like sign a thing and be done with it. One of the things that we're actually trying to be doing with the data that we have and like collecting the evidence with large language models and AI is to accurately try to be collecting what is needed for each case uh, based on the context of the case. So that is actively in work. I that is not published yet. I can like connect you with the digital forensics and AI research lab that we are working on that, and maybe we can like talk more about this. But that is one of the routes that we are taking to make like the evidence collecting more accurate. The second thing is that uh, the tools over understanding the evidence is getting stronger. Just a few days ago, Mistral Docs just released, which made the OCR and like understanding of PDFs for like miles better. And these kind of tools can be integrated within like different or workflows that can get large language models a better understanding. The issue is that it's time consuming to train AI on different laws on each state, on each uh, like county, and there is not a like there is some sort of like umbrella terms over like every state, but it's not like as accurate that you can like make something for Georgia and use it for Florida, or use it for Alabama, you know. Hmm. Hmm. So, as far as I know, one of the things that we're actually working, we have access to around like 12,000 cases, and we are actively developing and trying to be training, and that is getting rejected. One of the main reasons that it's getting rejected, and like we are trying to fix in it, is that um, so running a large language model, a private large language model as big as that, with like having like a lot of like billion models, a billion parameters, needs like a workstation. Most of the states are or like people don't want to like have that kind of money or like spend that kind of money on that like structure, or nor they want to like have their data on the cloud. So one of the things that we're actually working right now to be making this more accessible for the investigators and bring it to the courtrooms is to be using knowledge distillation. So we train a smaller large language models based on the laws that we want by a parent's large language models, and with like some magic that comes over here over there and like some active inheritance, we can deploy all of the tools that an investigator needs to check on the evidence, easily runnable on an ARM processor on like a MacBook like M2 or like M5, which would take the tools for like using AI for evidence checking to the courtrooms better. That is one of the bottlenecks right now. It is a technology. They don't want to like have like spend like 10,000, sorry, $100,000 for like two A100s and like keep it behind like an IT room in a like a courtroom. They don't want to be like doing something like that. There are. I cannot like talk about it because I have not all of those like cases, but so one of the issues that actually I hesitated to be talking over here is like the AI generated evidence that are actually like getting into the courtrooms right now. Like you see like a video made by Sora, and like they show it and you think it's real, but it's not. So one of the things that is actually needs to be like fixed is to be like finding the tampers with the evidence that is used with AI. With the text space, it's really hard because it's harder than like the images and the videos, because like most of like these videos or images that are generated by AI, they have tags and they have things like hidden inside of them that it can be like get out using some like mathematical magic. But with the text, that is a harder issue, and we are actively trying to battle that. Not published yet. It is under work, not published. Most definitely there should be, but I am not aware of that. I have to like talk to like the agencies that, yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'll be more than happy. Yeah. Cool. Hmm. Really, really, really great question. Great question. So that is actually one of the goals that we're working on towards right now. So I told you that like we work towards like training a like a large language models or GDPR laws that is like for user privacy. And like there are two sides to this conversation. One side, yeah, it's for the courtrooms, for the investigators. The second one is for actually for the users and the companies. They were like just uploading their data, their like cases, things like that, or deploying that under like own systems, even better, more private, more secure. And like it tells them that like, oh, you're messing this up. This is gonna be like get you in the courtroom, get you fined for like $1 million, and you should be preventing that. So the prevention from like doing some like getting into like some wrongdoing is one of the other like goals that like we're trying to like bring in it, and that needs a little bit of a work, to be honest, because yeah, the thing that you're saying is makes sense. That like you just go to a court and say that like, oh, I don't know the law. I told this large language model, it told me this. I'm fine. Why are you like fining me? No. The issue is that when we have like a very dependable large language model and great set of like laws to be addressing this, that issue to our experience won't happen, because when you're like doing something like knowledge distillation over like a good set of laws, you get like around like 80 to 90% of accuracy over evidence detection, which is fantastic for both for the users and the courts. There is a still, yeah, you know, that is the thing. The way that we're that is completely correct. The way that we're still looking at AI and large language models is as we're looking at the calculators. They make life easier, but it's still for you to decide, and it's still for an expert to come and use it. As we said it on the presentation, it's built to save human hours, you know, just like if you get like less 10 hours of like, if your work gets like faster by 10 hours, you can use 10 hours to sleep maybe a little. So, you know, any questions? Well, thank you so much. And oh, sorry, I wanted to show you this. You can contact me over LinkedIn or on my email at pslamirod@augusta.edu, and I'll be more than happy to collaborate and talk more about this matter with any of you guys. Thank you.